Good morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is where we left off yesterday. We have the Evo decently torn apart, not completely torn apart yet. Today's goal is to get the motor, transmission, and transfer case out of the car. I think the next move from here is to start working on stuff on this side. We have the AC compressor, power steering pump, accessory belt. There's a motor mount here. We're gonna have to disconnect the drive line. We have some more wiring over here. I really want to focus a lot of time on fixing a lot of this wiring crap because it's such a mess before. When we start putting it back together, I think I'll probably dedicate a whole day just to cleaning up wiring. I might be putting the battery back in the trunk just to kind of clean up the engine bay a little bit. I did not like how it looked, and yeah, it was just a disaster. So let's get to work. All right, so this is where we're at, guys. All the wiring's done, shifter cables are off, everything on this side of the motor's off. What we need to do from here is disconnect the transfer from the transmission. And how we do that, we're gonna pull off this wheel, pull off the CV axle. There's a CV axle stub that runs through the transmission into the transfer case. So we gotta get that stub out. 3 bolts on top, 3 bolts on bottom. And then from there, we just have motor mount right here, motor mount back there, this motor mount, and we should be able to get the motor and transmission out. I do still plan on pulling the transfer just to kind of clean it up a little bit, go through it. And I may be pulling the subframe as well. Not exactly sure yet. I'll figure that out later on. All right, fam, we just got the engine out. We also pulled the transfer case out because it's a non-ACD. There's no lines connected to it. As soon as the transmission is out and you have both CV axles out, the transfer case just pulls right off. So we're gonna clean that up, clean all this stuff up, disconnect the transmission from the engine, and figure out what exactly is going on with that clutch. We do still have to do some cleaning in here too. It's an absolute disaster. Look at down there. So nasty. I wanna figure out what exactly happened with this clutch. So let's pop the tranny off the engine and see what happened. We finally got the clutch out of the car. I had to unbolt the pressure plate from the flywheel instead of releasing the throwout bearing. Even after the transmission was off of the engine, I still could not get that throwout bearing to release. So I ended up just cutting the clutch off of the tranny, which was very, very time consuming, but is the only way to get it apart. This thing's absolutely destroyed. So it's a comp stage 2. That spring right there came all the way out and just destroyed everything The pressure plate, I don't really know if anything was wrong with the pressure plate because we cut it apart. So I don't know how this thing looked, but either way, I'm honestly pretty surprised that a comp is either a comp stage 2 or stage 3. Kind of surprised that it came apart like that, and it's got me really worried because I have that same exact clutch in the Evo 10. So let's hope that one doesn't come apart as well. That'd be a shitty situation. I do have a clutch here. It's an ACT. It's supposed to handle a good amount of power, but what I'm worried about is that spring coming apart at high RPMs. I don't know if I really want to drop the money on a multi-disc clutch, like a twin disc or a triple disc, ideally a triple disc for this car. They're so expensive, like $1,300. I don't know what we're gonna do, but for now we got to get some stuff cleaned up. The shop is a disaster, motor's a disaster, tranny's a disaster. Throw the clutch away, clean up the shop. Look at the shop, look at this freaking shop. Wow. The really scary part about all this is the Evo 10 is going to be revving like 1,000 more RPMs higher than the Evo 8, and if that thing came apart, let's hope the Evo 10 clutch doesn't come apart. Let's just leave it at that. All right guys, we got the engine, transmission, and the transfer case all cleaned up, good to go. I did notice a very unfortunate thing with the engine. I was planning on just leaving it complete, swapping out the clutch, throwing it back in the car. When I was cleaning it, or right before I started cleaning it, I was degreasing it. I noticed a bunch of either oil or coolant residue right below the head gasket. So I'm like 99% sure the head gasket on this motor has been leaking for a little bit. I don't think it's gonna show now because I cleaned it up, but yeah, it's all right under here. Not a super big deal. It just wasn't something I was planning on doing, but we're definitely gonna be pulling the head, replacing the head gasket, and that gives us a chance to check out the pistons, check out the cylinder walls, make sure everything in there is good to go. We got the whole drivetrain cleaned up. Last thing to clean up is the engine bay of the car. Here she is, looking a little bit crusty. So I'm gonna actually throw the car back together. I don't wanna make a huge mess in the shop. Let's throw the car back together, get it on the ground, wheel it outside, and pressure wash it out there. Well, I feel like we made some really good progress on the Evo 8 today. I'm a little bit disappointed that we do have to turn into the motor. It's gonna add, I don't know, a few days, maybe a day or two to the whole project. At the same time though, I am a little bit excited just to make sure everything in there is good. I can replace the timing belt, I can replace all the gaskets, just kind of freshen up a little bit, and we'll be on our merry way. This is how she's chilling right now. Transmission's clean as hell. Motor's all cleaned up. I know I probably got some water in the ports. I don't really care because I'll be popping this head off probably tomorrow, so we can clean out those clean out all the intake ports and exhaust ports then. So motor's pretty damn clean. Engine bay I probably spent an hour on just going through cleaning everything up. Turned out super nice. I don't think I'm gonna pull the subframe. It came out clean enough to where I'm not necessarily all that worried about pulling the subframe anymore. And then back here we have the transfer case and the CV axle and whatnot. I am extremely excited to get this car up and running again, get it done. I am debating kind of changing up the turbo system. I want to go to a forward-facing turbo kit, but there's two things holding me back, or three things. Number one, it's expensive. Number two, I'll be driving this car in the winter, and snow going through your motor probably isn't the best thing in the world. Number three, I'll also be driving this car in the summer. I like AC. I'm an AC fanboy, you could say. Obviously, if you have a turbo right in the grill of your car, the AC condenser is no longer going to fit, and I can't find any AC condensers that are like half size, kind of like a half size radiator you have to run as well. I can't find a half size AC condenser that is available these days. I know there was someone way back in the day that used to make them, and I don't think he's selling them anymore. So if I can figure out what to do for AC, maybe I'll send it and make some big power on this car as well. I don't know. It was pretty quick before. I might just leave it. I should probably just leave it because this car back here is taking all my money. But what fun is that? What fun is that? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here, boys and girls. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you think I should send it, with a forward-facing turbo kit and say screw it to all the other issues that it may cause us, comment hashtag full sned down in the comment section below. Peace out, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.